Welcome at the Grand Hotel of Stockholm, DDC Financial Group European Investment Summit, the 8th edition. Here we are with Matthew Browndorf, CEO of Plutos. Sama, Matthew, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Let's start talking about this event. You moderated the first panel of the first day of day one, and you talked about NPL opportunities and new developments. Let's sum up about it.
Yes. We're a US-based company. We're a private equity model. We were born during the distressed economy, the housing crisis in America. So when we started to see the cycle end in 2014, we started to look for other opportunities. Most of our peers had already gone to Western Europe, so we jumped over them. We got into Poland in 2015, and we found the wild, wild West, and it's been exciting ever since. So we've really made ourselves experts at the Central and Eastern European markets, and we've been involved in just about every big trade in that market since then.
Yeah, Matthew, we are lucky because you are American, so you can share with us your American view of the European market, and maybe let's focus on the main difference between US and so American markets and the European market.
Well, first of all, I love that we hear that you like us because we're American, so thank you very much. I left my ketchup at home. So one of the biggest differences I noticed is America's housing crisis was so catastrophic. I mean, never in my lifetime had I experienced anything like it. I had to go back and ask my 90-year-old grandmother what the Great Depression was like to get an idea of what was going on. So we immediately, the entire government got involved. There was, quantitative measures. There was all this qualitative easing, and all these economic development things that were done within America to counteract the process. And they were doing them in Europe too. But Europe lagged, and Europe was a little bit slower. I think the westernized countries like the UK and Germany kept cycle with the US and what I call deleveraging the world, but I don't think that Central and Eastern Europe was on the same path. And they really kicked the can down the road. So therein created the opportunity for us to complete the US cycle and then to move into Central and Eastern Europe. And now, as I even talked about on the panel, we're looking at the Ukraine right now. I mean, that's an exciting opportunity for us. So you just keep moving east and we might end up in China.
So you answered already to my next question about new opportunities. Let's focus on another theme, another issue very important in the last years, the blockchain issue and all the cryptocurrencies environment. Which is your idea? What do you think about it?
So I'll tell you, so I think what's happening right now is we have massive change going on, and it's the very beginning of it. It's a new cycle. We don't know what it's going to look like. We don't know if we're going to have a crisis or prolonged growth. We don't know what the new industry segments are. So everybody's looking for them, and blockchain and cryptocurrency were very, very exciting. AI is exciting. We've actually switched our focus to leave the consumer market in the US and start to look at small to mid-sized enterprises and distressed opportunities there. On the more exciting ones, instead of blockchain and cryptocurrency, we got into marijuana in California, and we see an incredible opportunity there. And then we are also looking at esports. This year, there was a huge article. I mean, I have a 21-year-old teenager who spends all his time in front of the computer, and I thought there was something wrong with him. He had no sun on his face. He was not living in Greece. So I asked him, and I got involved in his life as a father would, and I found out he was gaming. This industry surpassed all revenue for videos and music put together in gross revenue in 1 year in 2019. That is an incredible statement. And we got behind that. So we did skip blockchain. Again, we will look at an opportunity where everybody beat us, and we'll try and find what's right ahead of it. And we think there's going to be incredible movement in the THC business in the United States during the legalization and in esports. So that's what we're really focusing.
So it's a kind of working by entertaining. This is maybe your imperative. And at the end, let's talk about your last deal, because you entered the food environment, the food sector. Let's talk about it.
Sure. So, we're a private equity company. Our talents are that we have an incredible legal division, an incredible finance division, And while we focused on the consumer side of the business and recovery and rehabilitation of debtors for so long, we're looking for new markets right now. So we switched into the corporate structures, which I've stayed away from for a long time because I realized we had the expertise that we needed to enter that space. We were very good at restructuring. It was the same skill set we had. And we saw an opportunity with Vapiano, which I had been just running into in Europe everywhere. I fell in love with my wife at the restaurant. We had a date there in Cologne, Germany, many, many years ago. And I always knew of the brand, and I started seeing them everywhere in Europe. And then I went to New York and I saw one. And then I went to Chicago and I saw one. And I actually picked up the phone and I cold called them. And I said, hey, I love this brand. I want to get involved. And it took 2 years. They were very, very slow, and they were very, very specific about how they wanted to address the market. And I applaud them for their conservatism and the way they approached it. But after 2 years, we entered into a phenomenal deal, I think, for them and us. I think it's a win-win strategy. And we're going to take over their U.S. operations in the United States. And in fact, I just came from there before here. So I went to Cologne and I met with the new CEO, Cornelius, the CFO, Lutz, and the new head of franchising, Nick. And we were able to talk about the deal and where we are on the timing and the structure. And it's an exciting opportunity.
I'm already feeling angry, Matthew. So
well, we can get some free lunch.
Yeah, okay. Okay, got it. Okay, thank you to Matthew Browndorf, CEO of Plutos Sama. Thank you for joining us. Of course, enjoy your staying here in Stockholm.
Okay, thank you very much, and thank you. Cheers.